says all the makings of like one of those movies where they're like, look, it's a normal house and a normal place, and they're like, what the fuck was that? Hey guys, it's Thursday. This week we are talking about books that haunted us. I almost went the traditional route. I could talk about Pet Sematary, which I read while I was camping in the woods. Or there were these scary storybooks that I got from the library in elementary school that left me so terrified that I made my mother stand outside the bathroom door to make sure nothing got me while I was peeing. Not one of my better moments. But I think the book that really haunted me was House of Leaves by DanielEWSKI. Link in the below bar. This book's a little hard to explain. It's one of those books that you either love or you hate. I don't think I've ever met anybody in the gray area. You kind of go a little crazy when you read this book. And I know that sounds weird, but if you've read it, you're probably nodding right now. It haunts you. It haunts your sleep. You think about it. You wonder about it. The book starts off with a single page with the words, "This is not for you," written on it, which of course makes you want to read it. But later on, at some point in that book, you will regret opening it. This story starts off pretty simple. There's a guy living in an apartment. There's a strange old hermit man who lives down the hall from him. And the old man dies. And the main character and his friend go into the apartment before it gets cleaned out. And they end up finding a trunk with a bunch of papers in it. So they investigate. And in this trunk is what's called the Davidson Report. And it's basically the story of this guy who buys a house, and the house isn't normal. For starters, they find a closet, which wouldn't seem too far off when you buy a new house, except the closet wasn't there before. And the closet keeps expanding. And they start to take measurements, and they find out that the house actually measures larger on the inside than it does from the outside. The story's told in different parts. There's the old man's story with his notes and what he discovered. There's Johnny Truant, the main character, who's telling you how he's getting involved in finding out what really happened. And then there's the actual Davidson Report, which is them discovering what's going on with this house and this door in this hallway that just keeps growing and doesn't seem to end. Everything kind of gets twisted, and as I was reading it, I kind of got twisted up in it too. The ways that everything kind of blends together but doesn't, and things that seem normal are slightly off. It makes you look at everything different and wonder. It's one of those books that just gets under your skin and sticks with you. And even to this day, it kind of freaks me out talking about it. It's not a very well-known book. It's almost like a club, I found, where I'll mention it and people change how they're looking at you when they realize that you've also read that book. You kind of get the nod. I know, I've been there too. And there are not many books that get that reaction from readers. The guy who wrote it, his sister is Poe, who is a singer. And if you've ever listened to her album Haunted, it's based on the same world as the book. So there's all these little things that complement the story as you listen to the album, which I thought was really cool. So it's almost like it's not a book, it's a whole experience. I kind of wonder if this is the future for books, if you'll come across books that have albums to go along with them, that have web pages and vlogs, and if that's somewhere that authors will start branching out into and looking into, because I think it's something that could be really interesting.